Welcome to the Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast, bringing you the country's top podcast on the subject of internet marketing, with your hosts Glenn Thayer and the CEO of Intuitive Websites, Thomas Young. Folks, welcome to another episode of the Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast. I'm Glenn Thayer, and with me again is the CEO of Intuitive Websites, Thomas Young. Tom and I are going to talk about website conversions and stay-in-touch programs. So I guess the first question that we're going to talk about is, what are the differences? What is a website conversion? What's considered a conversion? And what is a stay-in-touch program? Because obviously there's lots of ways we can explain this.
That's right, and I think a lot of people are confused by these two things because they go by so many different names. But really the first thing I'm going to do is just define them. A website conversion is an interaction between the website user that's usually anonymous and your company. So anytime that the website user crosses that line from being just an anonymous click to an interaction with you, that's a conversion. It's going to happen. There's many ways that can happen. And then a stay-in-touch program is a way that you stay in touch with that person after they stop being anonymous. And the thing about marketing and marketing professionals, they can make this stuff very confusing when really it's very simple. And that's what the two definitions are for these things. And then, of course, the challenge is figuring out what works best for you and how to get started with all this, and then which channels work best for staying in touch and which options work best to become a website conversion.
Now, is this talking, when we start looking at, obviously, conversions or any type, somebody says, hey, I'm requesting information, I'm downloading a white paper, I'm doing any of those types of things. When we already have an opt-in, somebody says, I want this white paper, they've given the email address.
Right.
So the stay in touch would be sending something else, adding them to a contact management database, an email, some email system, constant contact, vertical response, something to that effect. That's
right, because one of the things that web marketers need to realize, and we see this all the time with our clients, is that web conversions are a starting point, not an ending point. A lot of times we focus too much on the fact that we got the conversion, we got the sale, great, the website did its job. But really the value, the long-term value, is in having a web conversion be a starting point and then having your stay-in-touch program nurture and work with that customer over time to maximize the relationship for both parties. So, don't consider website conversions an endpoint. Consider them a starting point. But if they are a starting point, and this is the beginning of a customer relationship, then the relationship's only going to be as good as your stay-in-touch program.
Right.
And this is where a lot of things fall through the cracks, and a lot of people let that stuff go. But this is absolutely critical, these two parts of web marketing. And it's interesting to note that boundary is very blurry on how people convert. Like, we always want to track it, How did they contact us? How did they hear about us? Was it the web? Was it the ad we're running? We're putting money into that ad. Is it causing people to contact us? Well, I think if you realize that for people, they don't care how they got in touch with you, right? And they really don't care that you want to know. That's why it's so hard to get that information from people. And really what people will usually say is, if you ask them the question, how did you hear about us? Or, what motivated you to get in contact with us? The most common response is going to be, I don't know, maybe the internet, or I don't know, I can't remember, because they really don't care. So the challenge for us is to have kind of a wide range of conversion possibilities that give people all the options they want. Because fact of the matter is, they may start with a phone call, then go to the website. They may go to the website, go with a phone call. They may find out about you in social media, then call you, and then go to your website. So it's the boundary is very blurry. So it's so important to have a great net of conversion points for people, for them to reach you.
Well, it's also, one of you bring up a great point here is, even if it starts with a phone call, typically if somebody's going to pick up the phone and call you, they're really interested in your product or service.
Right.
And even if that conversion ends in a sale, there you are right there. You have a sale. Okay, well, what is the lifetime value of that customer? And I think that's really where the key point comes in, is when you have a stay-in-touch program. If you look at e-commerce, how many people are actually repeat customers? When you go to an e-commerce site, because people are shopping on price.
Yeah, they shop on price, or they shop on an impulse. They need something then, but then they get no reminder from most companies that, hey, you should buy this again. Like, for example, I play tennis, and so I order tennis balls by the case. And so I should get an email with, say if I use one can a week or whatever, I should get an email, 6 weeks, 8 weeks down the road saying, time to order those tennis balls again. And I would probably at least 50% of the time click on that email and say, absolutely, I need to order. Thank you. And that can happen in a lot of different ways. And it comes back to, first of all, understanding the conversion, how I made contact with you. And then second of all, knowing what your Stay in Touch program should be about and how you can use a combination of push and pull strategies to make the Stay in Touch program really work. For example, if someone emails me and says, hey, reminder, time to buy tennis balls, that's a push strategy. But a pull strategy for that same thing is going to be, hey, it's real easy to find these high altitude tennis balls that you need on our website. And these two things have to work together to maximize sales. And that's where the Stay in Touch program comes in as really being the push strategy, and the conversion program really comes in as being the pull strategy.
Now, obviously, we're talking about several, kind of doing a blanket approach here, because we're talking e-commerce and product sales that are online. We're also talking about service-based businesses. If you have a service-based business, you have a face-to-face with the customer most of the time.
That's right.
And so usually that would warrant a phone call, or you have an opportunity to talk with that client or customer, and you can ask them how would they prefer to be kept in touch.
That's right.
Would they like a phone call every quarter? Would
Yes.
they like an email? What is their preference? And if you have your marketing strategy, your online marketing strategy set up the right way, you can just click the check boxes and put them wherever you need to do it. Put it into your customer contact management database that reminds you, hey, call Bill Smith, once a quarter. Oh, here comes the date. Oh, July 1st, I need to call Bill Smith.
Yeah, and I think that understanding your target market is critical here. And I think that there's a connection between the target market's ability to use technology and how they use technology and the impact of your Stay in Touch program. Because I know there's still a lot of people out there that aren't heavy users of email. They check email occasionally. But I think the trend is that email will still be the number one Stay in Touch program. And I think that what people are realizing is they have to have one place to organize their communications and to keep track of all the different people they're having communications with, and that email is much better than than phone, than text, than social media, than all these different other options. And so I think you'll see that email is really still the number one Stay in Touch program.
I had a conversation with a client of mine about 2 weeks ago, and we were talking just about that same thing. What is the best way for me to stay in touch with you?
Yeah.
And she said, number one, thank you for asking, because nobody asks.
Right, that's a great point.
She says, number one, thank you for asking, because she's like, just in asking that question, I want to continue to do business with you because you care about me as a customer, as a client.
That's right.
So kind of looking at it that way, she says email is the best way. Now, we talk email, people get so much spam. Personally, myself, I have been culling myself off all the list. Just unsubscribe. So if I'm interested in your product or service, I will still stay subscribed. Once again, that's got to be relevant content. It can't just be, here's this week's specials, unless I'm signed up to get specials.
That's right.
If I don't want specials, I want information. Tell me what you're doing from a thought leadership standpoint. Don't send me an email that says, hey, here's the specials. We're on sale right now, unless I specifically want that. She wants things that just say, hey, keep in touch. Tell me what's new, what's going on. Send me an email once a quarter.
Yeah.
She's like, if you send it once a month, that's too much. Once a quarter, I'll take it and I will read it. But it has to be personalized. It has to be personalized. It has to have my name in it. My name must be spelled correctly. Mm-hmm. I want, make sure it's personalized. Even if it's a form email that goes out via Constant Contact, I get it. But make sure you have my name on it.
That's right.
If it says hello and there's nothing else on it, she's like, I will delete it.
That's right. If it starts to read like spam, then it is spam. It's a great point. Now, what do you do? So some people will unsubscribe to your email, but they could still be customers down the road. That's where the pull strategies come in. Like, hopefully they'll follow you on social media. Perhaps they'll want to check your content out on your website occasionally. We'll have a list on our website of Stay in Touch program ideas, but you're absolutely right. The best way is to talk to people, find out what they want to do, and then check your data in Google Analytics to make sure you're in the right area. But I think email is going to still be the future of Stay in Touch programs. And it's just so easy to share email. It's so easy to get important information out there, and important information will get saved via email.
And, keeping that going even from a social media standpoint and on your website, it kind of reinforces the idea of having fresh content on your blogs. Because people do sign up for the RSS feeds. Those are still popular. I still have tons of those in my, from Google that shows me all the time, hey, you're subscribed to this. Here's the daily email. And it's information I want. Because the ones I subscribe to, it's content. There is no selling on it. So it's content that I want, that I need for work. For me to do my job, I need this information. So I'm subscribing to thought leaders. Well, what happens when I need consulting services? I know who to call. The people that send me the links to their blog that show up in my inbox all the time.
Absolutely. And Stay in Touch programs have to be a combination of call to action and content. And they're two interrelated. And you can't do one or the other. You can't leave one out. You have to do them both. You have to coordinate them. But the content is just what you said. It helps people do their jobs better, improves their quality of life, gives them information. But the call to action also has to be included, whether that call to action is, a coupon or a discount or a gift card or whatever it might be, or a free session or whatever. Those all have to be included. And there's different ways to make a Stay in Touch program work. We worked with a client just this week who has been looking to get more appointments set for their business. And they actually went out to the different offices that refer to them, and this was face-to-face, and delivered a really nice gift card that said $75 off your next visit. Well, their average transaction is $3,500. So, $75, people that need that service, and they're going to come in anyway, that $75 is of value to them, and they'll use it, and they'll commit, and they'll pay the $3,500. That's just another example of a Stay in Touch program with a very strong call to action that gets results. And I think that in today's day and age, what you're finding with this call to action idea is that people will spend thousands of dollars with a little incentive to save a little bit, especially in consumer marketing. On B2B marketing, you really have to do more on the content side and show them the value, and then they'll pay your fees. But I think the deal of the day concept that has done so well, now maybe Groupon might be struggling now or whatever, but that doesn't mean that you can't use that coupon idea if it connects with the target market. That's all part of making a Stay in Touch program successful.
So let's talk about some of the key action items for our listeners. As far as like a strategic program, how does somebody even start designing a program like this? Right.
So this is, you have your marketing plan. And I mean, we have dozens of podcasts that talk about marketing plan and that sort of thing. But when you think about the conversion plan and the Stay in Touch plan, start by looking at a budget. What would you be willing to spend to make this work, and what kind of return would you like to see? And then once you do that, select the channels that you want to use to stay in touch.
I also want to touch, before we go too far on the thing on the budget, though.
Yes.
You can do this without a budget if you're willing to put sweat.
That's right. Your budget might be.
You might have a $0 budget, but you're willing to put sweat equity into it.
Time or money.
Time or money.
Absolutely.
So you get to choose. So just I wanted to just clarify that. Sorry about that, Tom.
Absolutely. No, it's a very good point. Time or money. Now, if you get Constant Contact or MailChimp or something, you're going to pay $50 a month or whatever. But think about the time or money concept of your budget, what kind of return you want, and then think about the channels that would work best for your target market to stay in touch. And also on the conversion points, those are usually free. Conversion points have several different types of conversion points in social media, on your website, on your Contact Us page. We have lots of podcasts that talk about that particular item. Then once you select the channels, then start developing content. And once again, lots of podcasts on content marketing and call to action themes. So a call to action theme could be something as simple as, if you got value from this content, get in touch with us, to something as complicated as a, very sophisticated promotion or coupon code or whatever. But those all have to be integrated together in this plan. And then schedule them out. Do a schedule for staying in touch with people. Some, we recommend email newsletters monthly, but some markets might need them quarterly. Monthly might be too much. Some might need them weekly, reminders weekly. But another key thing is make sure you post all your Stay in Touch content on your website. A lot of clients don't do this, and Stay in Touch content can be developed into blog posts, newsletter articles that are posted on the website, regular content articles, and also posted in social media, right. Whether it's a blog post or if you're even doing email promotions, those email promotions should be coordinated with social media. And finally, the last action item I have is, as you put this together, go to your target market and ask for feedback. Now keep in mind that what people say and what they do could be different, but you'll get some nuggets of wisdom by talking to folks in your target market. And I think, like you said, Glenn, a great question would be to ask is, how often do you want us to stay in touch? And what medium would you like? What medium do you prefer?
I tell you, clients appreciate that. They
do.
really, really do. And it builds more value, and it builds more trust between the clients, too.
Absolutely.
Folks, thanks for joining us again for another Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing podcast. Always remember, if you have a topic that you'd like us to discuss, don't hesitate to shoot us an email at info@intuitivewebsites.com. Thanks again for joining us.
This has been an Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast. For more information and to see all the available podcasts and much more, visit intuitiveblog.com. If you have a website you'd like us to review or an issue you would like to see covered in future podcasts, email us at info@intuitivewebsites.com.